Hello and welcome to Variety with Vishwam. Thank you very much, Mansee ma'am, for joining us for the show. Today we are going to have an extensive part of discussion which we had been having over a period of time.
Ahmedabad 630 lakes and I was just studying one lake, थलतेज लेक. जब मुझे लगा कि ये लेक्स जो है वाटर बॉडीज और मैं थलतेज लेक के पास में ही रहती हूँ. So having a city with 630 lakes and still having water problems, वहाँ जाके मुझे एहसास हुआ कि there is something deeper into the subject. And actually sustainability was inherently part of our culture. और जो मिनिमलिस्ट लिविंग था हमारे ट्राइबल लोगों का, हमारे बिफोर द होल आइडिया ऑफ अर्बनाइजेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट केम, हम अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, ग्रेट ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को भी देखें, आज भी हम एक्चुअली पुअर लोगों को देखें या विलेजर्स को देखें, तो दे आर हैविंग एक्चुअली सस्टेनेबल लाइफ. इंडिया इज़ राइट नाउ रिसाइकलिंग अराउंड 9% ऑफ इट्स total waste, organic, inorganic, all put together. Around 12 to 15% goes in incineration for power generation or other products, recycled products. Rest is landfill site. And my concern is that most of the landfill sites are happening on the lakes or on the mountains, where we don't inhabit. We are not we are of course on the roadsides, we are putting the garbage. But I want to draw your attention to something which is related to sustainability and consumption and production also. See, when we look at these statistics of waste, we also have to look at the statistics of rainwater harvesting, because they all go together. Most of the water bodies are polluted in the country. We have a population which is around 16% of the world's population, which receives 4% of the world's rainfall, and it only harvests 8% of the rainwater that India receives. But India consumes world's 70% groundwater extraction, world's, more than US and China put together. So we are not then putting ourselves in a rain dependent condition. In 2000, which is 2000, we had the huge flood in Ahmedabad, where all the lakes were dry,
Right.
river was dry, and the city was flooding. So lakes hona ek city mein, a water system hona, it is not about just you look at the water bodies. There is much more than that, which I had already proven in my master's thesis here. तो धीरे धीरे इस सब्जेक्ट के पीछे और इंटरेस्ट आता गया. फिर एमफिल में गई, जब मैंने वैल्यू ऑफ लेक्स पे स्टडी किया तो मुझे और पता चला कि लोग इस वाटर बॉडी से या वाटर सिस्टम से क्या चाहते हैं.
That dialogue started when I heard you for the first time in the ecosystem restoration course at CE, when you were invited as a guest faculty for the subject. So it was a very interesting conversation, hearing to you. I remember one of the most important part of that conversation, which I still remember, the decommissioning of the dams in US. That is, you didn't say it, there was another guest. Yes, he said this and I was like awestruck कि अभी हम तो नए डैम बनाने के प्रोसेस में है और वहां पे वो लोग डीकमीशन कर रहे हैं डैम्स को. तो शायद बहुत सारे लोगों की एनवायरमेंट की लर्निंग्स जो है हमें एक्सचेंज करनी चाहिए, एंड दैट कुड रियली हेल्प अस एंड दैट कुड सेव लॉट ऑफ कॉस्ट अराउंड इट. सो लोग ये बोलते हैं कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी और एनवायरमेंट से प्रोटेक्शन की बात है, कंजर्वेशन की बात है. मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारी कॉस्ट की भी बात है, क्योंकि अगर उत्तराखंड में अलग अलग, हिमाचल में अलग अलग जगह पे बाढ़ आती है, तो अगर बाढ़ आती है तो बहुत सारे घर बह जाते हैं, बहुत सारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बह जाता है. बाढ़ आती है तो गांव के गांव तबाह हो जाते हैं. तो वो ह्यूमन कॉस्ट और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कॉस्ट कौन बेयर कर रहा है? बिकॉज वी इग्नोर्ड एनवायरमेंट, that is why the cost is coming to us. That is one perspective to it. And other perspective is that if we would have done sustainable development, it would have been avoided. But handling this as a 150 million, 150 CR country, a very huge country, a populous nation with limited resources, developing nation, we might become a third economy. but still compared to our population and our living standards have been very low compared to other nations, other developed nations. So we have to race to that. We want development, but not at the cost of environment, not at the cost of just presenting a glamorous picture, but having real growth, real development where we do not oppose the environment. जैसे लोग बोलते हैं और नॉन लोग बोलते हैं कि अगर हमने नेचर का ध्यान नहीं रखा तो नेचर अपना रास्ता बना लेगी.
बिल्कुल.
ह्यूमन को अपना रास्ता संभालना है कि उसको कितना डिस्ट्रक्शन करना है. बाकी अब नेचर अपना रास्ता बना लेगी. नेचर ने हमेशा से अपना रास्ता बनाया हुआ ही है. आप ना कोई पकड़ पाए हो ना कभी बांध पाए हो. तो ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेते हुए वी आर गोइंग स्ट्रेट टू द टॉपिक. But to the viewers, this podcast is an interesting conversation where we are trying to make you understand that how water conservation is extremely important. So, ma'am, we'll talk about water with you. But first of all, I would like to uh, know that how did you started your career in environment conservation? That is a very important conversation, because at a lot of times for environment conservators, it didn't come immediately. It is not a career which everyone will suggest कि आप डॉक्टर बन जाइए, आप इंजीनियर बन जाइए. पर एनवायरमेंट को कंजर्वेशन करना वो एक फील्ड होती है जो शायद अंदर से चॉइस आती है, तभी जाके इंसान कर पाता है. और वो एक कंफर्टेबल करियर नहीं भी है, बिकॉज आप हर जगह पे गवर्नमेंट को, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को, बड़े बड़े स्टेक होल्डर्स को चैलेंज करते हैं. क्योंकि आप चैलेंज करना बहुत मुश्किल बात होती है. जब पावरफुल लोगों को आप चैलेंज करोगे, प्रोवन पार्ट को, पास्ट को चैलेंज करोगे, तो बहुत मुश्किल तो जरूर रहेगा. तो मैम, कैसे आपने एनवायरमेंट के अंदर स्टेप रखा और एनवायरमेंट कंजर्वेशन के अंदर स्टेप रखा?
थैंक यू विश्वम. न्यू ईयर ग्रीटिंग्स. और आई थिंक आज का दिन डिस्कस करने के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा दिन है. कि आई वुड लाइक टू स्टार्ट माई डिस्कशन विथ यू विद अ ट्रिब्यूट टू सुंदरलाल बहुगुणा जी, जिन्होंने ये बात रखी थी कि अगर डेवलपमेंट ऐसा होगा जिसमें माँ गंगा का हमें त्याग देना पड़ेगा या उसके पोल्यूशन को एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, मैं उस डेवलपमेंट के खिलाफ हूँ. तो आज उनका बर्थ एनिवर्सरी है, तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है आज ये बात करने में. Now, where did I start? I think I can go back to 33 years ago. Bachelor's of Architecture भोपाल में हम लोग को थर्ड ईयर में एक सब्जेक्ट था लैंडस्केप आर्किटेक्चर, जिसमें हम सबको एक सब्जेक्ट एक टॉपिक लेना पड़ता है काम करने के लिए. एंड आई चोज वाटर एंड आई वर्कड ऑन डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ वाटर एंड स्पेशली सेलिब्रेटिंग वाटर कि कितना सुंदर है. तब वो इतना लिमिटेड व्यू था मेरा पानी को समझने के लिए आर्किटेक्चर में, क्योंकि हम तब फाउंटेन देख रहे थे, वाटर पूल देख रहे थे, स्विमिंग पूल देख रही थी मैं. पर वाटर एक लैंडस्केप और इकोलॉजी का हिस्सा देखने के लिए शायद मुझे और थोड़ा उम्र में बड़े होना पड़ा. जब मैं मास्टर्स करने आई यहाँ से यूनिवर्सिटी अहमदाबाद में, तब मैंने लेक्स पे काम शुरू किया, अर्बन लेक्स अहमदाबाद के. उस समय जाके शायद मेरे कॉन्साइंस में एक जो बोलते ना बेल बजा, या इट हिट माई कॉर्ड. Ahmedabad 630 lakes and I was just studying one lake, थलतेज लेक. जब मुझे लगा कि ये लेक्स जो है वाटर बॉडीज, और मैं थलतेज लेक के पास में ही रहती हूँ. So having a city with 630 lakes and still having water problems, वहाँ जाके मुझे एहसास हुआ कि there is something deeper into the subject. इसलिए भी और महसूस हुआ क्योंकि in 2000, which is 2000, we had the huge flood in Ahmedabad, where all the lakes were dry,
right,
river was dry, and the city was flooding. So lakes होना एक city में या water system होना, it is not about just you look at the water bodies. There is much more than that, which I had already proven in my master's thesis here. तो धीरे धीरे इस सब्जेक्ट के पीछे और इंटरेस्ट आता गया. फिर एमफिल में गई, जब मैंने वैल्यू ऑफ लेक्स पे स्टडी किया, तो मुझे और पता चला कि लोग इस वाटर बॉडी से या वाटर सिस्टम से क्या चाहते हैं. तो हम ज्यादातर समय हम रिक्रिएशन चाहते हैं. आप देखेंगे लेक और रिवर के सामने हम चौपाटी ही बना रहे हैं, पूरे देश में चौपाटी बना रहे हैं, जो कि बॉम्बे से हमने उठाया, बीच में से लिया. तो मुझे और रियलाइजेशन, नो, देयर इज समथिंग मोर व्हिच वी आर मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग, दैट अ लेक इज लेक We should not treat it as a park or a garden. Then I went for my PhD. And I think that was a turning point for my life. I will say, मेरा PhD urban lakes in India पे ही है. How are we managing, which is governance, and how do we sustain the lakes, which is sustainability of the lakes. और जो मेरा 4.5 साल PhD में निकला, इंडिया और नेदरलैंड्स के बीच में, एरास्मस यूनिवर्सिटी में है मेरा PhD. इन 4.5 साल में मुझे बहुत सारा समय मिला सोचने के लिए कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, क्या करना चाहिए जीवन में, तालाब क्या सिचुएशन है, तालाब को कैसे लोग बचाना चाहते हैं या बचाना चाहिए. द बिगेस्ट लर्निंग फॉर मी, मुझे आज भी याद है, मेरे PhD डिफेंस में पूछा था कि व्हाट इज योर बिगेस्ट लर्निंग फ्रॉम डूइंग PhD, एंड माय बिगेस्ट लर्निंग वाज व्हाट वी शुड नॉट डू विथ वाटर सिस्टम्स. तो अब ये 11 साल हो गए हैं मुझे PhD के, तब से मेरा सबसे फेवरेट टॉपिक है, मैं लोगों से बात करना चाहती हूँ. तालाब ने, वाटर सिस्टम ने, जीवन में भी you really become a very sorted out person when you learn what not to do, and I call it a deductive approach to life. अब जब आपने डैम की बात इंट्रोडक्शन में भी रखी थी, तो इंडिया में भी डी डैमिंग शुरू हो गया है. आप करिए नहीं करिए, डैम खुद अपने आप को डी डैम कर रहे हैं. यूएस में, इटली में, सब जगह डी डैमिंग हो रहा है, जापान में हो रहा है, और इंडिया में खुद अपने आप भी हो रहा है. हम 2 साल पहले तीस्ता में भी देख चुके हैं. तो कई सारी चीजें हमने की उस समय सही थी. समय बदल गया, हम बदल गए हैं, सिविलाइजेशन बदल गई, डेवलपमेंट का डेफिनेशन चेंज हो गया है. तो हमको कई सारी चीजें अगर अंडू करनी पड़े तो करनी पड़ेगी. दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ नॉट डूइंग, विच इज माय बिगेस्ट लर्निंग फॉर लाइफ.
यदि पहले कोई बीमारी होती होगी तो उसका इलाज कोई अलग तरीके से होता है. तो आज जैसे कोविड आया, स्टार्टिंग में नहीं पता था क्या करना, फिर वैक्सीन लगाया, तो हमें अंडू करना पड़ेगा. फिर अभी कोविड की इलाज आ जाएगी. तो हम ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि अभी रेस्ट इज ओनली वन वे ऑफ प्रोटेक्टिंग योरसेल्फ, की इम्यूनिटी बढ़ानी पड़ेगी. तो जैसे जैसे कोई भी डिजीज का होता है तो हम इम्प्रूव करते हैं. कोई भी बीमारी होती है उसका इलाज 10 साल, 20 साल, 30 साल, 40 साल के अंदर इम्प्रूव होता है. वैसे ही हमारे जीवन का जो तरीका है, तो वी विल हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हमें क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना है.
बिल्कुल. आई थिंक चेंज इज इनएविटेबल, ये हमको समझना पड़ेगा. ऐसा नहीं कि पहले जो हुआ वो गलत था और अब जो होगा सही है, या पहले जो हुआ वो सही था और अब हम गलत करेंगे. ये हमको समझना पड़ेगा. वी हैव टू हैव दैट अडैप्टिव कैपेसिटी बोला जाता है. सस्टेनेबिलिटी के साथ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड जोड़ा जाता है. वी हैव टू अडैप्ट टू द सिचुएशन, जो हमको सीखना पड़ेगा. हम अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं वेस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशन से बिकॉज ऑफ आवर कोलोनाइज्ड माइंड.
राइट.
अडॉप्ट और अडॉप्ट में जमीन आसमान का अंतर है.
यानी हमें ऑलरेडी वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज की चीजें हमें अडॉप्ट करनी है या अडैप्ट करनी है,
ये हमको सोचना पड़ेगा. जैसे कि अभी मैं आपके साथ बैठी हुई हूँ, पर मैं अब अपने सिटिंग को भी अडॉप्ट करने वाली हूँ. ये दिस इज कोलोनाइज्ड सिटिंग, एंड एक्चुअली आई वुड लाइक टू सिट माय वे. The system is Western, no problem. I learned from them, but I want to sit in my own traditional way and talk frankly with you.
Right.
This is adaptation.
Right.
In the same system, and that is what we have to learn for everything we do.
Absolutely, absolutely. और उसके
I hope you are okay that I'm sitting like
that's
this.
absolutely all right.
Okay.
I usually try and sit this way.
You know, my office is on. Yes. I sit on the floor and work.
Right.
That is adaptation, and I'm using all the modern gadgets possible. Right. But I'm still taking care of what is best for me.
The comfort.
That's the fusion. We talk about the fusion. You take the best from everywhere you want and try to do your best.
Right. So now we are going towards understanding the sustainability mindset. या तो sustainability और environment को लेके लोगों का क्या mindset है, उसके बारे में बात करना चाहूंगा. क्योंकि आपने बहुत सारे लोगों से बात की होगी, बहुत सारे लोगों को धीरे धीरे कन्विंस भी किया होगा कि एनवायरनमेंट कितना जरूरी है, कितना नहीं जरूरी है. तो आपने जैसे अपसेप्ट में से पास आउट किया, तो आपने शायद थोड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स भी किए होंगे जो शायद डेवलपमेंट के लिए हो. तो यू वुड हैव कम अक्रॉस. सो ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन ये आ जाता है कि क्यों सस्टेनेबिलिटी को एक लग्जरी वाला पार्ट माना जाता है, जबकि सस्टेनेबिलिटी और एनवायरनमेंट कंजर्वेशन शुड बी इन एवरी स्टेप ऑफ आवर लाइफ.
Very good question. Actually, sustainability was inherently part of our culture. और जो मिनिमलिस्ट लिविंग था हमारे ट्राइबल लोगों का, हमारे बिफोर द होल आइडिया ऑफ अर्बनाइजेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट केम, हम अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, ग्रेट ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को भी देखें, आज भी हम एक्चुअली पुअर लोगों को देखें या विलेजर्स को देखें, तो दे आर हैविंग एक्चुअली सस्टेनेबल लाइफ. Personally, I think there is some kind of strong desire coming out of the guilt, knowing that we are unsustainable as urban dwellers. We want to make that extra effort and be louder that we are doing something as sustainability. I give very simple example. Organic food for me personally is a scam. Pardon me for that. Because why that organic food should be more expensive than a food which is with pesticide? Because if you are adding something, there is added cost. But in organic food, you are saying you are not adding cost. So then the cost should be lower. So if you really want to promote sustainability, whatever is called as organic, sustainable product, they have to be cheaper than the unsustainable product. And because it is the elite club's idea of sustainability, you will find all these goods are more expensive. Whether it is khadi, whether it is pure cotton, whether it is organic food or homemade thing and anything, homemade soaps, oils and all. There is a human labor cost, I completely agree on that. But if there is lesser material put, lesser contamination, it should be made everybody's part of life. I think the niche product ideology comes from the elite club of urban areas. Otherwise, villagers, traditional people, indigenous people, they were always living sustainability. And if you really want to do sustainability practice in your life, just stop buying. Giving an example of fashion, we have fashion for next 6 generations in our wardrobe, in our almirah. Then you cannot talk about sustainability saying that I am wearing a fruit dyed cloth. You understand my point? Or I am wearing a recycled chappal. Or I am eating something which is really handmade or hand grinded. I think there is a serious problem in that. You have 4 cars in the house and then you talk about sustainability, there is a problem. You have 6 toilets in the house and then you say you are doing roof water harvesting, there is a problem. So this is like compensating the mistakes which you have done. It is very similar to rich people going to all those babas and ammas and trying to clean their sins. We all go to Kumbh to take a holy dip to reduce our sins. Sustainability today is practiced like that. We have done too many unsustainable things. Let me do some little thing and do a sustainability. That is why it is a fashion. It is really not seen in the light as it should be seen. If you really want to learn sustainability, go back to your grandparents' lifestyle. Simply put, have few clothes, few requirements. And I would like to quote here Gandhi, there is enough for everybody's need. Sustainability, unsustainable part starts when you go cross that border of need and start walking the line of greed, which has no limit. The country's richest person wants to become world's richest person and the world's richest person wants to go and colonize Mars. Where are we talking? And trust me, I'm just giving these 2 men's example, but that mindset is in all of us. We all want to grow bigger, bolder, louder in life. This is not sustainable. And then you buy few things to showcase to your peer group and your friend circle that this is sustainable product. This is something which we have embraced in our life, that is hypocrisy. We have not understood sustainability.
Right. But probably we have not understood sustainability because we are not taught sustainability.
Absolutely. You nailed it. And I would like to go back to your first question when you started asking where did it all begin. Actually, we are not taught. I was not taught environment. I was not taught water. I was not taught sustainability when I was doing my bachelor's, master's postgraduate. When I was in school, there was not even an environment subject. Now at least there is an environment subject. But mind you, when you look at the content of the environment subject now, it is so anthropocentric. How you should look at the environment in a way that we can appropriate, we can use more, you know. So still it is an incomplete way, but I will say things don't change overnight, civilizations don't change overnight, but we actually destroyed our society overnight. If I look at the civilizational development, within 100 years we have damaged our society more than 100 times. So that way we have gone fast. See, breaking or destroying anything is very fast. Restoring or recovering anything is going to take time, you know. So if we, in that sense, the education which has started on environment is a good start, I will say. If I look back 35 years ago when I was in bachelor's, when there was no subject, at least now there is a subject, then we can start looking at how that subject can be taught better. We had sustainable development goal first time in the form of millennium goals, 1973 if I remember correctly, Brundtland Commission. Now then we had, because we did not achieve millennium development goals, now we have sustainable development goals which is until 2030. No country is going to achieve sustainable development goals by 2030. India is even ranked 120 or 23 in sustainable development goals. Let us talk Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad wants to go day zero waste by 2030. Do you think it's going to happen? Unless and until you, me, all of us really take sustainability in its face value, not in its face value, but in its true value. What it means. If I consume lot of goods and I produce lot of waste, then I say that, oh, but I am segregating waste. I think this is half sustainability and hollow sustainability.
As you said about segregating waste and producing more. So first we'll take producing more. So
consuming more.
Producing more for pushing for consumption.
Absolutely.
Because now the internet is going to show you more. If
Yes.
probably if they have an history that I like denims.
Yes.
If it
Now AI is doing that for you.
AI is a new thing. It's just a form of machine learning, but machine learning was always there. So Amazon will know that this guy is likely to buy more jeans. Every month this guy will buy 2 pants. So then they will show more so that he can buy 3,
yes,
4
more
and
offers.
5.
More offers.
Yeah, more offers, more push, and when you make the decision, यार ये भी ले लेते हैं. Then there is sale culture. ये भी ले लेते हैं. So how does sale attract you, and then you end up picking up more than what you actually need? At the same point of time, खाने पीने की बात में भी वही है कि अगर आप डीमार्ट में जाते हैं, सुपरमार्केट्स में जाते हैं, जितनी आपको ज़रूरत है उससे कहीं ज़्यादा आप खरीद के आने वाले हैं. तो ये कंजम्पशन मोर वाली बात तो हो ही रही है. आज आदमी को कितना खाने में चाहिए, हम इतना सारा खा रहे हैं, still malnutrition has reached to, on an average, 60 to 70% or more. 73% someone was talking, I'm not sure, but around 60 to 70% of our population in India is malnourished. Now, having that, consuming to the great level and still malnutrition is a problem. So that means that nutrition is not a problem. Our greed, our inclination कि मैं ये भी ले लेता हूँ, वो भी ले लेता हूँ, ये भी कर लेता हूँ, वो भी कर लेता हूँ, उसकी वजह से हमारे कंजम्पशन बढ़ते जाते हैं. तो वो एक फैक्टर है. दूसरा है वेस्ट सेग्रीगेशन के बारे में. आज के टाइम पे वेस्ट सेग्रीगेशन बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. आप अपनी राय ज़रूर दीजिए इसके अंदर. बट एट द सेम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम मैंने सेग्रीगेट किया, फिर उसको सेग्रीगेटेड वे में आगे क्या प्रोसेस किया जाता है, वो शायद उससे बड़ी दिक्कत है. तो मैम, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई हैव 2 questions.
Sure.
One question first is, how much % of our waste is organic waste? Probably the numbers on internet are showing that between 40 to 60% is our organic waste, which we generate.
Hmm.
तो एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या हम रिसाइकलिंग प्रोसेस में
Hmm.
ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को ही हम अच्छे से प्रोसेस अभी कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं?
Hmm. Okay, so just the waste question. India is right now recycling around 9% of its total waste. Total waste, organic, inorganic, all put together. Around 12 to 15% goes in incineration for power generation or other products, recycled products. Rest is landfill site. And my concern is that most of the landfill sites are happening on the lakes or on the mountains, where we don't inhabit. We are not we are of course on the roadsides, we are putting the garbage. But I want to draw your attention to something which is related to sustainability and consumption and production also. See, when we look at these statistics of waste, we also have to look at the statistics of rainwater harvesting, because they all go together. Most of the water bodies are polluted in the country. We have a population which is around 16% of the world's population, which receives 4% of the world's rainfall, and it only harvests 8% of the rainwater that India receives. But India consumes world's 70% groundwater extraction, world's, more than US and China put together. So we are not then putting ourselves in a rain dependent condition. Why I am giving this example along with waste is because we are supposed to use surface water bodies for our production of raw material, which is resource, which is agriculture. Because all the products are coming out of agriculture produce, whether it is cotton or whether it is meat or anything for that matter, leather. So if our surface water bodies are polluted because we are consuming more solid waste and we are dumping it on the water bodies, our surface water bodies are not utilized, which means then because we have the luxury to draw groundwater, and we are using the groundwater for all our needs without realizing that we are polluting land by surface water pollution. We are polluting groundwater because most of the industries and even local authorities are injecting water into the ground. Even those percolation wells are very risky because you don't know whether it is fresh water going or not going, or wastewater also going. Then we have leakages. So pollution, water, waste cannot be talked independently. They have to be talked together. And we have some staggeringly disappointing figures in the country. And what bothers me more is that we are constantly hiding behind the development board that we are a developing nation. Does that give us the license to do the same mistake the Western countries did? That is my question. No, we don't have to. We have to learn the mistakes Western countries did and not do those things. As I told you, my biggest learning in life about sustainability, about remaining a minimalist user, is to not do a lot of things. But we are constantly hammering our brains to do a lot of things. And a classic example is that we are forced to be successful people in life. The problem starts from there. Who is a successful person in this society? Who has more houses, more cars, who has more goods, who has more dresses, who eats more, who wants to eat strawberry and dragon fruit and avocado in Ahmedabad, which never grows these fruits? India is now the second largest meat exporter in the world. In a cow meat, in a country that worships cow as a holy cow mother. So there is certain problem in the way we consume things. The more we are consuming goods, the more we are going to produce waste. This is a very simple mathematical formula. The more we are going to produce waste, the more pollution we are creating on land and water. So everything starts from you and I. What do we consume? It is actually in last 100 years, in India, I will see the biggest culprit of all this civilizational development in a negative way is the management discipline. Management came, and I blame to all IIMs for that, all IIMs. Management came, the management education. We do not have environment education in the country. We have very good management education. Every other person wants to become a management graduate. Management came and understood the human psychology very well. And especially in a colonized country like India, where even if we have become an independent nation, our minds are still colonized. We take pride when we think that we are acting, working like Westerners. You have to understand this fine thing. And management discipline understood it very well, and they packaged everything in such a way. And a classic example is use of millet versus wheat. Britishers started using wheat more, and that is why we thought wheat is better, because we have a colonized mindset. Whereas we have been millet eaters all the time, since antiquity. They came and brought and did the genetically modified basmati rice, which is the most unhealthy rice you can eat in the world. But we have to export. And we lost over 2,000, 3,000 varieties of indigenous rice in the country, which used to consume less water, which had its own flavors, own colors, regional identity. Everything got homogenized into one basmati looking rice. And we are all homogenized as humans. We all want to look Westerner. You and I, look at us. And that is why I so strongly relate the way we live is the same way we want to treat everybody and everything around us. We want everyone to look similar. We want everyone to follow same religion, everyone to do same things. And management discipline understood it very well, that they gave a package to us that you will be considered richer when you buy these things. There was an ad when I was very young person, Onida TV's ad. The ad used to call owner's pride, neighbor's envy. You know, that if you have this, you are very proud, you are rich basically, and your neighbors will be jealous of you. We live in that syndrome, and that is completely against sustainability lifestyle. And if you really have to change it, you have to start changing from yourself. And I want to bring Gandhi again here. Be the change you want to see in the world. Really, you have to start from home. Consume less and produce less waste. This is the only mantra for life. Nothing more, nothing less.
Right.
I'll stop here.
Yeah. So basically, we are living in the ages where we were disconnected from sustainability a couple of 100 years back, when the Westerners came here, started selling a lot of interesting things in a very impressive way, and then they started trading, and then they started ruling us. And then they changed everything all put together. So whether it is about our food habits, about our lifestyle, about our thought process, about everything, right from the way we were educated.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you want to change the world, if you want to bring in your slaves, teach them what you want to.
Absolutely. That was the whole idea of English education in the country. They wanted servants. And we actually became literally like servants.
Right. So we were trader community, we were farmers, we were doing a lot of things, and we had every city was self-sustainable.
Absolutely. We had Swaraj.
Yeah.
Gram Swaraj was still the vision of Gandhi's idea of independent India. And every village has its own food, own farm pond. And of course, there will be barter system between the villages. If you grow more rice and I grow more potatoes, there will be a barter system.
There will be a barter system, but at lot of times, lot of villages were self-sufficient.
Absolutely.
Lot of families were self-sufficient. Let me put it that way. That
yes.
I will grow wheat in particular time, then I will grow something else. I will have a small space in my backyard which will grow vegetables which I want, which I need. So a lot of things were self-sufficient. They had their own system of storing grains, and I will give you wheat, you can give me rice.
Absolutely.
That how they had their own personal granary to store. The kings used to have their own granaries, and their things would automatically work. So we were sustainable, but then we didn't continue the learnings which we had, right from say protecting our nature as gods. India has all the nature,
Yes.
the entire everyone in nature, whether it is air, vayu, jal, everything.
Yes. The word Bhagwan is about nature. Is about nature. You see, Bhagwan is made up of 5 words: Bha, Ga, Va, A, and Na. Bha is Bhumi, Ga is Gagan, Va is Vayu, A is Agni, Na is Nir.
Right.
That's the word of Bhagwan. It is not Hindu religion's copyright on the word Bhagwan.
Right.
So you have to understand, but we also have to understand where did we shift in our thinking. See, when Britishers came, we were all independent, kingly ruled or princely ruled places. Very small towns and small villages, small samrajya or kingdoms. And they had a scale which every ruler could manage, you know. And every village had sarpanch, 5 people, more than 5 people, and so forth. So they knew how to manage people, to manage the nature for their own needs and for trading also. The problem started when we started from this decentralized approach of living and sustaining our lives to centralized system. See, there was no India in Mughal and British time. Please be very careful about it. India is only after independence, you know, because Britishers ruled many states, estates and states all. So the whole centralization of idea and centralization of one nation actually brought the problem. I'm talking about where did we shift from this self-sustaining Swaraj or Gram Swaraj or princely states to centralized central government, state-led, where common citizens were not involved in decision making, and slowly they became disassociated with their own resources, and they got mentally as well as physically dependent on the centralized system. Government is going to provide me water, government is going to give me this, and government also took this responsibility to do the things which citizens were thinking that they will do. So this, when we talk about nature conservation, when we talk about sustainability, we have to talk about decentralized or empowering the citizens to take their own decisions. Now in this process, management came and it guided the government towards development, because from small states and princely towns and villages, now it is a matter of India, which has to compete with the world, which has to make a 5 trillion economy as per the Prime Minister, and as per Ambani, it has to be 30 trillion economy. But what is this India we are talking about? During COVID time, India produced highest number of billionaires in the world. When the whole country was suffering, poor people were suffering, India produced highest number of billionaires. What sustainability? Whose sustainability? India right now stands with the highest inequality index in the world. Means the richer people and the poor people income difference is way too much. When we talk about GDP, we are not talking about GDP of 2 businessmen, where more than 60% people sleep without having 3 full meals in the country. A country that produces 130% times more food, Where is the food going? The food is going to the international market because we have to increase our GDP. If a country produces so much of food and then more than 60% people sleep hungry, we really need to ask right question. We are not asking right question to the government. Why not feed everybody in the country first and then send the remaining to the world? Why more than 30% food gets wasted in this country after getting produced? Why not poor people get access to food? So when we talk about sustainability, I have like 12 crises actually, and I want to talk about the topmost crisis is the equity crisis. We cannot talk about sustainability in a country which has 3 Indias. We have those billionaires, 10% billionaires holding 70% of nation's wealth. Only 10% people. We have the middle class, which wants to come to that 10%. And then we have the poor people. More than 50% of the country is poor. So there is somewhere a problem in the way we understand development. There is a problem in the way we understand sustainability, and I want to go back to education that nobody was taught about it. None of our politicians knows what is development, what is sustainability. And you also mentioned in the beginning that Bombay wants to become like Hong Kong, like Singapore, like Shanghai. Small town wants to become like Bombay, like Delhi, right? So we are in that constant race, exactly the way every individual is in a race. From poor people, one wants to get into the lower middle class. Lower middle class wants to become upper middle class. Upper middle class wants to become Adani and Ambani. That race is reflected in our city's development also. When you are in a race, in a competition, you will not, it's like a war, so then everything is fair in war. If you are in that kind of war, any war is about destruction. Any competition is going to bring lot of problem into people. We have to understand that civilization has to talk about collaboration, not competition. And I think when we talk about sustainability, we have to unlearn lot of things which we have been told. I am not really now pro-development. When I was 20 years ago looking at India, probably my understanding of development was very different. I did not imagine this kind of development where we will have 12 lanes of highway and still 10 kilometers will require 1 hour to go. Did we really develop? I don't think so. If I have a bank balance and my 10 people around me are not able to even get a house, what sustainability? If the poor people are living with the recycled material and we are talking about sustainability, we have to learn from them that how they are using our waste and recycling and upcycling, by the way, and using our materials.
तो जैसे आप बोल रहे थे कि मुंबई को शंघाई बनना है या बड़े शहर में बनना है, मुंबई को न्यूयॉर्क के जैसे रखते हैं, वैसे वेरी नोन बिलियनर केम, एंजल इन्वेस्टर एंड बिलियनर जो हर जहाँ पे भी जाते हैं तो एयर प्यूरिफायर लेके जाते हैं.
न्यू स्कैम इन द कंट्री, बाय द वे.
ब्रायन जॉनसन, वेरी नोन बिलियनर. So who came to Mumbai and he was doing a podcast with Nikhil Kamath and he said that no, this is not coming breathable, I need to leave. तो ये सब चीजें तो हो ही रही है पैरेलली. जैसे अभी नए टेक्नोलॉजी में अभी जोमेटो के फाउंडर वो एक टेम्पल लगा के घूम रहे हैं, ब्रेन को स्टडी कर रहे हैं कि जिससे लाइफ को हेल्दी और लंबा जिया जाए. तो ये सारे डेवलपमेंट की पार्ट से नए नए गैजेट्स आ रहे, नई नई चीजें आ रही. पर शायद ये सब नई चीजों में क्या हम हमारा एंशिएंट लर्निंग भूल रहे हैं. फ्रिज बहुत अच्छी बात है, ठीक है, आपका खाना है, आपके पास बना नहीं सकते हो, आप उसको स्टोर कर सकते हो 7 दिन तक, ओके. बट क्या वो परफेक्ट तरीका है खाना स्टोर करने का? जैसी हमारे पास्ट के अंदर स्लो कुकिंग था, So there was a process of slow cooking. No, we want to fast. We want microwave ovens. Great. I tried to not use microwave as possible, but that's a different perspective. So microwave आ गया, फिर हम बात करेंगे गैस आ गया, LPG. बहुत बढ़िया. LPG हम जो गैस वेस्ट हो जा रहा है वो हम यूज कर रहे हैं, बहुत बढ़िया. पर क्या वो जो गैस एमिशन है उससे हमारा क्या खाना हेल्दी बन रहा है, नहीं बन रहा है, वो एक्सपर्ट्स ही बताएंगे. तो हमारे स्लो कुकिंग के प्रोसेसेस थे, हमारे खाने के प्रोसेसेस थे, हमारे पास हेल्थ का नॉलेज था, हमारा वे ऑफ लिविंग ही हेल्दी था. तो
एब्सोल्युटली, आई हैव नो डाउट्स ऑन दैट.
Yeah, so we have lost that ancient knowledge and working processing on the new knowledge. तो वो जो हम प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं नए नॉलेज की तरफ से, तो वो नए नॉलेज की तरफ हमें क्या पुराना भूल के नया नॉलेज ही लेना है या क्या करना चाहिए मैम?
We have to take the best of both, I must say. It's not that everything was right in the past, and I mean I can talk about patriarchy, which is still the disease in the present time. So there were some things which were good in the past, and there are something definitely good in the present time. हम रह रहे हैं, we are living the present time. We have to find a balance of both. And I think a classic example is, because you mentioned fridge, I want to extend it to the use of AC. Where was AC invented? In the desert region of US, right? For the desert time. Now in India, we use AC all the year round. You understand? So we have not understood how to take some things from other systems and use it to our need, as per our need. Again, this need and greed का लाइन समझना बहुत जरूरी है. आपको ठंडों में 4 महीना फ्रिज बंद क्यों नहीं रख सकते? आप फ्रिज बिल्कुल यूज करिए, आपका मॉडर्न लाइफस्टाइल है, बट हम वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं बिकॉज हमारी नीड की लाइन के आगे जो हमारा चादर है ना, द चादर हैज नो बाउंड्री ऑफ, दैट इज द चादर ऑफ ग्रीड. वी हैव नो बाउंड्री, वी डोंट नो वेयर इज द बाउंड्री. So that keeps on going. So I must say that we have to find a good balance to pick up some things from the past, which were nice, which is, I think for me, the biggest thing from the past is to live a minimalistic life. You know, have as less as possible. And personally, I have always questioned in my life, why to be a successful person? I don't know what is successful. If successful means becoming a rich person, I really pity all the billionaires and millionaires in the world. If it is by the bank balance that you are considered successful, I really, really feel embarrassed for my society, because most parents envisage you to be successful in that way. You have to really go extra mile to learn that no, Amartya Sen is a successful person. You know, you have to go extra mile to learn that no, Rabindranath Tagore was a successful person. You know, Gandhi was a successful person. So our idea of present day success is very much related to what you are talking about, because we have lost the very idea what is a human growth, what is best, because our whole picture or image is drawn from the colonized mindset. You know, whatever is written, see, we are influenced by education. And as we already discussed in the last question also, that we were given English education or English styled education, pedagogy, to produce more service class, not to produce independent thinkers. So education was for employment for long time, which is now slowly changing, which I think is the best thing happening with young generation. They are questioning the very idea that education is not for for employment. I would go a step further, and as I have lived my life also, for me, education is for enlightenment. I should be able to understand the world better if I am more educated. Not that I try to pretend constantly and show off more and more. Having more things does not qualify you to be more successful and more educated. even for that matter having more degree. If I have more degree and I'm still piling up more goods in my house, then I have not learned sustainability. I have really not learned sustainability. I remember working with Nobel laureate Elinor Ostrom, and when we were talking in Indiana in Bloomington, and she was so happy even using things which are recycled. It gives me a lot of confidence when I see humble people like them who are very open and thinking about recycling things, who are talking about using less things, who are talking about collaboration, who are talking about coming together and doing things, not about competing and becoming a better person than your padosi. We don't have to do that. Sustainability is all about doing things together, learning with each other. Even if you have little bit of understanding of something, sharing with others so that others also start thinking. Sustainability is all about thinking. In recycling our waste chronology, I will say recycle is the last option. You have to think, rethink. Do I need this? Can I live without it? Do I need just because my friends have it? Then there is a problem. So rethinking to recycle is extremely important in this time. And I think this is where I go back to the traditional wisdom of working together, thinking together, discussing together, cooking together, eating together. But slowly we have shifted to nuclear families. We don't have anybody around. So we look at others. Then there is TV which is telling us, if you have this, you are a better, you are a successful person. If you have this, you can do better things. If you have this. So I think we are getting infected by a lot of information which is coming to us. And that is the worst contribution the management discipline has done to the world, to my society at least. Western society is already infected with it.
Right.
They produce more garbage. But today the youth of the world produces world's 40% garbage, solid waste, which is out of fast fashion.
Right.
Food, as I already mentioned, it is so much of food getting wasted. 30% of food getting wasted in the world, where more than 50% people don't get to eat. A rich person is using 4,000 to 6,000 liters of water per day, where a poor person is not getting even 20 liters per day of water. Where is sustainability? A rich person doesn't even know how much he or she pays for a liter of water. A poor person pays 20 times more per liter of water. So, as long as we keep talking about sustainability among the educated elites, it's a hollow box. Right. Unless and until we walk to the ground, watch how poor people, how indigenous tribal people, how rural people have lived all their life with bare minimum things, and that too sharing with others. That is not happening in urban lifestyle. We are so highly unsustainable that we have no choice than to take it as a glasses, like chashma bolte hai na. I'm remembering Tarak Mehta ka chashma or something.
Tarak Mehta ka
ulta chashma. So it's like wearing a chashma of sustainability and looking at around and seeing, okay, I'm working on sustainability, everything is sustainable.